the banks of the Nile, where the battle for freedom began in the Arab world's most populous nation, but not perhaps where it'll end. I'm heading for the most rebellious part of Egypt to see how the shockwaves from the revolution here are affecting the very fragile stability of the whole region. I'm crossing the Suez Canal, the scene in the past of fierce battles with Israel, bound for the land beyond, the wilderness of Sinai. Historically, it was a bridge from Africa to Asia. Now it's more of a buffer. Here, borders have shifted like the sand. For 15 years after 1967, Sinai was occupied by Israel. But the people, mainly Bedouin, have stayed put. They believe Sinai is theirs. With tension so high in the north of the peninsula and the area so militarily sensitive, the authorities don't welcome foreign journalists. I have to record the best-known Bedouin activist secretly by my hotel pool in the town of El Arish.
The state won't treat us as citizens. They insist the land is theirs, but the people are not. They've discriminated against us in every way. They've ruled here with a rod of iron for 30 years, but we'll fight however we can to get our rights now.
Revolutionary openness hasn't reached North Sinai. I'm confined by the local army chief to the hotel and its beach, forced to interview Bedouin in my room.
If you are a Bedouin, you aren't allowed to join the army. You aren't allowed to join the police. You aren't allowed also to apply for certain jobs like diplomacy and other jobs.
I feel Egyptian, but the way they treat me, they make me feel I'm not Egyptian. Unless I change the way I dress and the way I talk, they won't let me feel I belong.
Maybe because we were occupied by the Israelis for years here, and there are suspicion about Bedouins who were under the Israeli occupation, and they might have some connections with the Israelis, but we don't.
The anger at the old regime rang out in the revolution when government buildings in North Sinai were attacked with guns and grenades. Along Egypt's gas pipeline to Israel, there have been mysterious explosions. Some blame Bedouin, others militant Islamists. But I'm not allowed out to discover what's happening. Hi, Masay Khair. Is that Mr. Yahya? Hello, may I speak English? Hello. For 2 weeks I've been calling Egyptian officials to get a permit to film here, but I never get a clear answer. The question is, do we need written permission to film in Sinai, or do we not need written permission to film in Sinai? Thanks, then. Well, that's absolutely extraordinary, because he's just given me, this is the man responsible for press in the local authority here, he's given me a completely different reason why we can't film from any reason that we've ever heard before. There's no mention anymore of written permissions or not written permissions. It's simply now that there's a dispute going on in this town between two rival Bedouin tribes, and therefore it isn't safe for our own protection for us to film here. Just a few miles from the hotel, there's an armed standoff, filmed by an Egyptian colleague. This man says they're blocking the main road because 9 members of their clan have been kidnapped by a rival tribe. Such quarrels are nothing new, but now they say the army won't intervene, and the Bedouin are better armed than ever before.
The situation here is very, very worse in terms of security. There are a lot of weapons, huge weapons, heavy weapons. I mean by heavy weapons that are used everywhere. It is really frightening. I'm feeling that we are going towards a civil war here in Sinai.
After 3 days confined to the hotel, I've finally been allowed out.